Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Who had more competition when their career started until they won their last championship in the postseason? Michael Jordan or LeBron James, right? And a lot of people might look at this image and they might say, well, man, it looks like LeBron had more competition. Right. Just like when we look at his era, oh, they have better shooters. Yeah, it might seem like that because the defensive rules were changed. These guys don't play defense. The face of the league flops. And different things like that. So it might look like that, but it's not really that way when you know, look at things in perspective and you really diagnose everything. So let's look at this before we get into this. And you can see Michael Jordan, he played with 4 top 75 teammates. We know who they was. We really got to count Robert Parrish. Robert Parrish, they gave you 2 minutes a game, I think, for one season. This guy was old as dust. But we should give him some longevity record, right? That's what we're doing now. Of course, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, and Kukoc, which we shouldn't even count Kukoc because he is a Hall of Famer. He's not a top 75 player, but he didn't even make an all-star appearance in the NBA. And this is what I'm talking about. He will be a superstar in this era in the 2020s, right? Your European players, your plumbers, they couldn't take over the league back then. But Tony Kukoc would take over the league today. That's the problem. And I told you guys before, the world didn't catch up to us. What happened was we start playing their game, which was keep away on the three-point line. That's why they caught up to you, because you no longer wanted to play American basketball. So these guys, what's his guy? Arvinas Sabonis, I think that's his name. He would be a superstar in this era right here. I mean, he was good. He wasn't great in the 90s. I know he came a little bit later in his career, but even if he came in the beginning of his career, which I'm sure he tried, what you guys don't understand is a lot of these Euros try to come to the 90s NBA, even in the 80s, but they couldn't make it. It was too tough because we cared about defense first. I mean, when you go back and watch some of these games, it's just crazy. Like, you be thinking these guys, oh, man, they missing all these shots. No, dudes was draped all over them, and every shot you took, you had to earn it. Nobody was just giving you something for free. So, yeah, the Tony Kukoc will be a superstar in this era right here because all you do have to sit around and shoot a three. You don't have to play no defense. You don't have to really run those sets or nothing like that. That's why the international players caught up to us, because we're playing their game. You look at LeBron over here. He got AD. It's one guy missing over here. It's Dwight Howard. So actually, LeBron has, let's see, as far as top 75 guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top 75 teammates, and 1, 2 Hall of Fame teammates, and that would be 3 with Dwight Howard. So 3 Hall of Fame teammates and 3 Hall of Fame teammates and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 8, right? Because it was 5 top 75 teammates. LeBron just had all kind of help, okay? So let's go over this. The first year, 80, what was this? 85, Jordan played 1 Hall of Fame guy, right? Sidney Moncrief. LeBron didn't play nobody. He was sitting at home watching TV. He did that a lot in his career. I think 4 times, right? The second season, of course, LeBron was at home watching TV after he lost, what was it? They lost 19 of 31 games after the All-Star break. And that was the year Ilgauskas made the All-Star team, right? That was the year Ilgauskas will be a superstar in this era, too. He'll be a superstar. He'll be a superstar. Remember, Rudy Gobert? Oh, my God. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about it. Because really, this ain't even LeBron's era. He's just, you know, he's just destroying this era. That's the thing about it. So Jordan, he had to play in his second season, 5 Hall of Famers. Basically with no help. As a second-year player. Third year, Jordan, same thing. Same group of guys in the first round, the best out of 5, got swept. And, you know, we'll talk about that in a minute. The third year, LeBron played Ben Wallace, Hall of Famer. Now we got to put in Chauncey Billups. And we're going to stop it right there. This is just getting crazy right here. Good for Chauncey Billups. But they just put in, who was that? Michael Cooper. Whatever. That's fine. Look, man. You're putting in a guy who never even made one all-star appearance. Okay? He was like the 5th option. You take him off those teams. My fault. Not off the teams. Well, if you take those championships away, does he make the Hall of Fame? I'm not trying to say he wasn't a big role in those championships, but not even an All-NBA, not even an All-Star, and we don't have Sean Kemp, and we don't have Kevin Johnson. Oh my goodness. I just some of this stuff, boy, don't make no sense to me. Yeah, and it's where Michael Jordan made his name those second and third years, because that's pretty much what they needed to beat him. 5 Hall of Famers. As he set scoring records in the playoffs, it became all-time great Jordan. You know, doing these things. We know the story, man. I'm trying to think, when did LeBron make his name? I think when he quit, right? And he went to Miami. Yeah, so we throw Chauncey Billups into that picture, of course. Who we got? So that's 2 guys. The 4th season, Michael Jordan faced 4 Hall of Famers. LeBron, he faces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I guess we can throw in 6, right? Because Chauncey Billups, he faced 6. The next season, Michael Jordan faces, let me see, 5, right? 5 Hall of Famers. LeBron faces 3. The next season, in 1990, let's see, Michael Jordan faces 3 in the playoffs. LeBron faces 1. The next season, Michael Jordan faces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 en route to winning the title. Let me see. LeBron faces 1, 3, 5. 5 Hall of Famers. And that's when he won his first. No, he lost. Oh, that's the epic meltdown almost. That's when he should have won. And we'll talk about that story in a minute. Not the entire story. The next season, Michael Jordan, he faces 2. LeBron, he faces, what he faces? 3, 6, 7, 8. LeBron faced 8. The next season, Michael Jordan in 93 faces 3. And LeBron faces 4. The next season, 95. Let's see. Jordan faces 3. And LeBron faces, what is this? 6? No. 5. Yeah, I think 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Let me see. The next season, did I go over that already? It's 4. Jordan faces 4, and LeBron faces 3. The next season, Jordan faces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And LeBron faces 3. The next season, Jordan faces 4. And LeBron faces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6, right? 6. And that's it for Michael Jordan. In the next season, LeBron faces, what is that, 5? Look, this is what I'm going to say about this, man. Who you face isn't always fair. We talking about real competition. We talking about Sidney Moncrief, Larry Bird, McHale, Robert Parrish. You know, I won't say Bill Walton or Dennis Johnson. They was a little bit over the hill. Not much, but, you know, when you facing Dennis Rodman, Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Worthy definitely wasn't over the hill. He might have got hurt a little bit, but look, Michael Jordan played hurt, Scottie Pippen played hurt, a lot of guys played hurt. That's no excuse, and they won championships. Um, you got the Clyde Drexlers, the Dominique Wilkins, Charles Barkley, if I said, um, Alonzo Mourning, the Shaq. You know, Penny was right there at Hall of Fame status. I mean, it just didn't happen. He got hurt. I mean, the Chris Webbers are over here. Chris Webber's on both sides, but this was a Chris Webber, the good Chris Webber, not the Chris Webber that LeBron faced. Of course, Tim Hardaway. You got your Gary Paytons. I think I said Shaq, John Stockton, Karl Malone, Dikembe Mutombo. Ben Wallace is even in here. Young Ben Wallace, Lonzo Mourning. If I didn't say him, Reggie Miller, Chris Mullin. I think I said Malone and Stockton. I mean, let's look over here, man. Of course, Ben Wallace is over here, and he was still good. But the crazy part is, in '06, he was still good. But they traded him for old ass Chris Webber. So I think they was trying to dump some money. I'm not for sure. You got the old Chris Webber came off the bench in '07. Jason Kidd was still good. Vince Carter, he was still good. Just a meltdown artist in the playoffs. Who is this? Tim Duncan, Parker, great. Let me skip the big three for a minute. We'll come back and talk about them. But yeah, he faced them. The Dwight Howard, he was good at the time. Then you had Dirk Nowitzki. Jason Kidd was pretty much over the hill. 2011. You got Harden, Westbrook, and Durant, real good at that time. Paul George, he was just starting to come on. Carmelo Anthony was good. Kawhi, like second year player or something. Then you got over here Jason Tatum, just like came in the league. Curry, Curry and Clay. DeMar DeRozan. Who else is over here that I didn't mention? Oh yeah, Kevin Durant. Now he's on the Warriors. You got Joker, and you have Lame Time. Look, man. I think Jordan's competition was just better. When I look at guys like Westbrook, James Harden, I like Carmelo Anthony. They ain't gonna cut it. He's not. I don't know, man. He ain't no team player. PG. I'm just naming the guys that I'm gonna say something about. I'm gonna say something about in a minute. Who else? DeMar DeRozan. Dame Lillard. Let me see. I just think these guys on the left are more all-time solid, great players than these guys over here on the right. That I just named. I can't really put no names out here to where I say, okay, these guys ever were bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? I think these guys were more all-time greats. Let me see. I don't know, man. I mean, I can point to Chris Mullin, maybe. I just look at these guys over on the left and look at Jordan's competition. These guys always gave the effort. It was like lockdown defense in their face all the time. No, they guys, it didn't matter if they was playing an all-time defensive player. That was at a premium back then. If you didn't make the defensive team, don't mean you wasn't a good defender. It just means you want one of the great ones in the league. So, you know, that's all that meant. But, you know, I mean, it is some good players over here. You know, the Parkers, you know, the big three. I'm going to talk about them in a minute. I'm talking about dudes that, like, just at their position, like, all-time greats. But, you know, we had Duncan, the Parker. Let me see. Jason Kidd, Dirk Nowitzki. I'll give it to Kevin Durant. But I know Westbrook had all these triple doubles, but man, he just ain't no clutch dude like that. He just these type of guys can't lead a team. Want real leaders. You know, like Carmelo Anthony, great shooter. Paul George, he can't like lead a team. Um, and we already know now, Jason Tatum. Man, this dude might go AWOL and be out of the league in a couple years because they really sticking it to this guy. You saw what they did in the Olympics. ESPN tried to pump him up after the finals, saying all this good stuff about him. He bricked it up in two straight finals. He bricked it up. If now you want to be a facilitator, oh yeah, he's a rebounder. He got this many assists. And nah, bro, ain't nobody stupid. You can talk to LeBron fans like that, but this guy is supposed to be the leader of the team. Jaylen Brown got a bigger contract than him, and Jaylen Brown might be on here. Jaylen Brown might be a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. But even when we look at when Jordan first came in, his competition was just like savage compared to LeBron's competition. I mean, check this out. It was nobody in the East, right? They pretty much had to bring these guys from the West for there to be any competition. Because remember, if you look all the way up until 90, that's all the East competition. Jordan wasn't playing nobody in the West because he didn't get to the finals. When you look at LeBron's competition in the East, it really wasn't no difference in 2004, 2005 when he didn't make the playoffs. But let me see. I could have sworn Chris Webber came out the West. We know. I think Garnett came out the West, and what's the name? Ray Allen came out the West. Just to make it any competition in that East, you had to bring the dudes up out the West. Remember, Shaq came up out the West. Gary Payton came out the West. I want to say some more guys came out of the West just to make that East some kind of. There was nothing there. That's why Detroit was basically dominating that thing. I ain't trying to say Detroit was a weak team, but okay, let's look at the big three, right? The big three basically was out of their prime. They were like in year 10, 11, especially Ray Allen and Garnett. So this is why LeBron was getting the number one seed in 2009. 2010, because these guys were missing games, they were beat down, broken, old, all kind of stuff. Remember, these guys played in the 90s when it was more physical, and you had to play more games. Not that the 2000s was weak. I ain't saying that, but you have real center competition on a nightly basis. So by the time when we look over here and you keep seeing the big three, by the time LeBron got remember the big three was together for like. Let me count this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They were together, I think 6 years they were together. Yeah, I think they were together like 6 years, 5 or 6. So when he played them in 2011, it was even worse. Remember, they only went to the championship game 2 times in 6 years, only won the East 1 time in those 5, 6 years. So by the time he played them with his super team, they were like 12, 13 years deep into it. They were pretty much done. So 2011, it would be like, even if we look at 2010, it would be like Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Horace Grant playing Larry Bird, excuse me, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish in 1991, 92, 93, 94, and 96. That's what it would be like if Jordan played those big three Celtics, Larry Bird, Parrish, and McHale, if he kept playing them. And that's a competition we got to keep putting in for LeBron. Now, 2010, I'll be like, okay, whatever. But come on, man. 2011, 12, and then you can see that in 2014, even played Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. And I think, was it like 2 of those years? Wasn't 2012 and 2014, like LeBron and the Miami Heat, big three, they played them like in the Eastern Conference Finals or something like that? One of those years. That's how weak that East was. It was nobody there. And LeBron with his super team was still playing these guys. So yeah, that's who his competition was. Look, 10, 11, 12. He was playing them with that 2 years, 11 and 12, he was playing them with that super team. That was only competition. It was old. And like I said, he played him in 14, but not the big three. I mean, the competition in a Paul George. And then we go over here to 15. There's nothing there before he gets to the championship game. All you got is Tatum. Tatum, like, first year. Then you go to 16. All you got is DeRozan. That's all you got. That's all you got is DeRozan. And 16 in the East. And we go back to 17. All you got is DeRozan and Paul George. Well, you got Tatum. I guess if you want to throw in Jaylen Brown, maybe he might be in there, but it's whatever. I mean, I ain't saying Michael Jordan was playing world beaters, but I mean, at least he was if he was playing against one or two Hall of Fame players, opposition, at least he was playing, all-time greats. All-time greats better at their position than a Paul George. Look at this. Paul George and Jason Tatum. Hold on, let me rewind it. So when we go to, we'll just leave Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce out of this because it's not even funny no more. So let's just say it like this: when LeBron won his first championship, right? And what was it, 2012, right? 2012, he played in the East. He played the old ass Big Three. When Michael Jordan won his first championship, who did he play? Isaiah Thomas. They wasn't old as Kevin Garnett and them. And that was about 91. Dennis Rodman, Charles Barkley, Joe Dumars, and Patrick Ewing. That's who was in the East compared to LeBron's Big Three. The next year, who is this? Paul George. That's all he played in the East. When he won his second championship. Not like Michael Jordan played anybody more, but are you going to take Paul George over Patrick Ewing? The third championship, Dominique Wilkins, and you have Patrick Ewing in there. So what would that be? The next time, that's all he played, right? Was Tatum. That's all he played was Tatum in 2015. In was it 1995, Alonzo Mourning, we won't even count the Chief, and he played Shaq. DeRozan, we're going to have to say this guy's a Hall of Famer. He's been to the All-Star game too many times. I think he's on defensive teams, all NBAs. The next season, DeRozan, who's that? Paul George and Tatum. For Michael Jordan, Chris Webber, Ben Wallace, Alonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway, and who's that? Dikembe Mutombo. And who's that? Gotta be one guy. Oh no, he's in the West now. He's in the West in 2020. So he played. Let me see, 4 guys. Who did he play in the championship game? That's a Hall of Famer in the East. I guess that would be Jimmy Butler, right? So I guess that would be 5 guys. So he played 5 guys in 2020 in the West. And Michael Jordan played 4, but Reggie Miller, Mullen, John Stockton, and Karl Malone versus these guys? Nah. The only player I could say was Nikola Jokic, but come on, man, he wasn't doing nothing back then like that. Carmelo Anthony had 0 help. Like I said, I'll take the 98 greats versus the 2020s. Anytime. Let me see. Are you guys? Yeah, I think they're all top 75 though, except for Joker. He didn't make it, which is kind of a joke. Yeah. So what it really comes down to is when we go back to the top, and we see the help. We see this help. Tony Kukoc, they already made All-Star team. We got to count him. Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, and old-ass Robert Parrish. And you can say the same for Shaq, old-ass Shaq, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Ray Allen. Oh, man, he was old. He wasn't that old, bro. He wasn't that old when he was saving LeBron James. If Shaq made a big impact, then we could say, oh, man, he wasn't that old. Who else? Ben Wallace, Ben Wallace was not old at the time. Kyrie Irving, and we have AD and Howard. Howard came in after LeBron James. So look, man, Michael Jordan stayed with his teammates for the most part, if it wasn't for retirement. But as far as those core players, when we talk about Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen, those were the guys that were on there for the longest. Cartwright, Scottie Pippen, Paxson, Horace Grant, Craig Hodges was there for a minute. I can't think of the other guy. It was a couple other guys, but those guys were on those teams until they won the first championship, and basically was on there through the three-peat. And when he came back, he was basically on the three-peat team, those same guys. But this is the difference, though. LeBron never had to leave Wade and Bosh. He was there for 4 years. He didn't have to leave them. He could have got some other pieces. Ray Allen left, and the East was weak. He could have just kept. Who was going to beat him? Remember, it was just Kyrie by himself. Love came from the West. Who was going to beat him in that East? Nobody. Remember that Duncan, he retired. Did he retire? I don't know if he retired. One of them, was it Ginobili? I don't know. But they was like a number 6 seed the next season after they won that 14 championship. And then here comes the Splash Brothers. So he didn't have to leave Miami. He had to leave Miami. I mean, I guess he had to leave Cleveland, but that's his fault. He didn't have to, but Kyrie hauled ass because, he tried to get Kyrie traded. So Michael Jordan stayed with his teammates. Right? He taught Scottie Pippen to do what he was doing. Remember, what Scottie Pippen ultimately done is what Michael Jordan was doing before Scottie Pippen came. The assists, the rebounds, the steals, the blocks. But Jordan was just scoring more points and doing all that. Once about 91 came, remember, Jordan really didn't let off that game until, what was that? After 91. And then Scottie really took off and started doing more of having more assists and having more rebounds.